Oh, hello there. Yes. Well, Sunday. Good grief. I've got nothing particularly to say about Sunday. Yeah. The problem with having a few days off work is inevitably it completely mucks up my sleeping cycles. So, yeah, I don't know if I'm coming or going. I'm sure there's a bawdy joke there for now. Anyway, leaving all that aside, I thought today we'd talk about Restore Britain. Yes. Restore it to what? Nobody really knows, and no one's going to ask them. Yes, the kind of reform in waiting, I suppose, aren't they? Yes, the kind of backup to reform who are the backup to the Conservatives. It's worthwhile, thinking just briefly about Rupert Lowe, the brilliant leader of the party. Here he is. Risk-taking is what drives any vibrant economy. Risk is good, wealth is good, success is good. We should celebrate it. Yeah, which is pretty much what everyone else on the right believes. Think about Rupert, obviously, is, posh boy, background in business, finance in particular, has never really realistically taken risks in his life, because in order to take risks, you have to run the chance of losing everything. And he, like the other MPs that he briefly was with in Reform, and indeed the wider Conservative Party, and indeed the wider public school boys and girls that there are that infest Parliament, have never realistically had to take risks in their lives. Their idea of entrepreneurship is simply making money. And the two things I think we need to think of as being different. But the problem with Restore is that they are just the Conservatives, or indeed just Reform. They simply have decided to take on the mantle of being extremely racist. Yes, I think it's fair enough to say that. You can argue the toss about that. Oh, they're not racist, they're just concerned citizens. Well, when you consistently print and put up and discuss racist things, it's a chance that you are. If your basic thrust of your any manifesto is going to be the same as Paul Golding in Britain First, I think we can assume that you just are. Anyway, today I just want to highlight one of their sort of poster boys, Charlie Downs, who's managed in his enormous 2 years since graduating to infest our television screens. And I don't know, it takes a lot more than wearing a tie to actually have life experience, Charlie. I always worry about young males in particular that I meet that are like Charlie, with that little gleam in their eyes, because they always think that there are enormous shortcuts, and the shortcuts usually involve pain and suffering on other people, never them. Anyway, I wanted to highlight just a couple of tweets that he put up from yesterday. The first of all is the right are jumping up and down about the fact that they've now got to sign in to porn sites to access material, which I think has very much upset them, because of course one of the things that we can never have is I'll leave you to fill in the blanks there. Anyway, yeah. Yes, rather annoying if you like, but easily to circumvent. But of course, it's a major imposition. One of the things that was always astounded me about the internet is the way that it has completely allowed capital and capitalism to simply strip away all of those old norms. Those of you, most of you out there of a certain age, will remember the 9 o'clock watershed. None of that stuff exists anymore. And at the same time, they always insist that we should protect children. Oh, should we bring in regulations then? And the answer is always no. Anyway, there was this. You best believe this government will stretch the definition of harmful content to anything they don't want you to see. It's already begun. Yes, the right are claiming that they can't see demonstrators being very peaceful compared to vicious Antifa types because of the new legislation. I think I have my doubts personally. We are descending, into totalitarianism. Oh my God, we might return to that theme. I'm not usually one for hyperbole. Yeah, you are, Charlie. But it really feels we're on the precipice. Yeah, organise and resist. Yes, you must. Ideally, perhaps, you could go to that nice Tommy Robinson shindig that's upcoming, or indeed you could go to the, probably less nice Britain First shindig that's upcoming as well, and march around with polyester Union Jacks. Why don't you? After all, we can't have brown people mucking up the country. We would need to lead it to the people that are, private school boys with a decent education to do that. Anyway, just briefly after he posted that one about the dangers of totalitarianism, he put this up. Mass deportations will be met with violent resistance. We've seen this in America. We've seen glimpses of it here. Doesn't matter. Put it down. Put down the resistance. Deliver justice. Yeah, put down the resistance. The only way out is through. Yes, there we go. Yes, and pain is just weakness leaving the body, and other things that you might say which are meaningless. Yes. So, in other words, we must resist creeping totalitarianism, which might mean that Charlie has a few restrictions on which particular tabs he has open at any one given time. But we just need to, basically sweep the scum off the streets. Yeah, someday a hard rain's going to come, no doubt, and whatever other imagery, boyish imagery you want to have in your head. But I'm sorry, Charlie, but I don't think the two of those are going to sit well together. And I think it's fine for Charlie, in all his 2 working years of experience with such real world or hands-on organisations as Migrant Watch, to come out with these things. But in my experience, young people like this, when push comes to shove, they're normally the ones at the back cowering. Whereas some of the rest of us that are obviously effete liberal types tend to be the ones that get on and actually do things. But that's probably me just knowing things, being a teacher. Anyway, very short while after that, he posted or reposted this from UK Aesthetics. Yeah, it's going to be our latest thing, isn't it? For an entire 9-month period, we're going to put up with the notion of UK, which is this idea that brown people spoil everything, because of course they do. Yeah, not like Rupert Lowe, not like Charlie, not like the other people on the right. They keep everything wonderful and pristine, don't they? Yes, what with their entrepreneurialship, we've seen that in the last 45 years, the way that everything's just got better and better and better and better and better. Or at least it would have done if it hadn't been for those pesky kids like me ruining everything. Anyway, he's managed to put this up, which I'll leave a link down below. You can have a look at the comments. They're quite intriguing for a bunch of people that certainly aren't racist. But it's taking the 5 values that I, as a teacher, have to teach. Okay, British values. The right really don't like British values because it involves actually treating people decently. So they're democracy, tolerance, respect, liberty, and the rule of law. Yes, I know you can drive a cart and horses through it. I certainly can as a sociology teacher, but I feel resentful about the fact that these people the reason these people hate these notions is, of course, they're not for liberty or respect or tolerance, and in Charlie's case and Rupert's case, basically, at best, not even democracy, because after all, they do kind of want to cut through all of those messy things to do with, people's civil liberties. Anyway, the reason I'm saying all this today, of course, is because we haven't seen quite enough of Charlie, have we? He does manage to write things for the Daily Mail, don't know why. He does manage to crop up a lot on all of those right-wing podcasts, including Talk TV and GB News. I don't know why, other than it's just that standard lie that lots of young people are like that, and that's the way that they think. After all, we have to believe that, because if we were to believe that such a tiny small number of indeed young males like Nigel Farage, then the whole thing comes crumbling down. But that's just me dealing with a form of reality. But these people are really dangerous because they are pushing to whatever their preferred view on racial conflict is. And they think that no matter what happens, they will still win. And they just don't care who dies. That's what it comes down to. You may recall Theresa May's hostile environment, and some of the people that ended up from the Windrush generation being bundled onto planes. One of them died through asphyxiation from G4S security, bless them. Yes, nothing like a cheap security service for, cutting through things. But these people were simply taken out of the country eventually. But it's vastly expensive. And I'd like Charlie, or indeed Rupert Lowe, or indeed any of them, to cost out what exactly this 2 million remigration is going to cost. Not just, in an actual financial sense, but in a social sense. Because, after all, they won't stop there, will they? Because Charlie and Rupert and the rest of them, deep in their hearts and hearts, whilst they really don't like brown people, it's people like me that really get their goat. And by God, they'd love to pass some legislation. I mean, they won't do it themselves, of course. Charlie's not the type to get his hands dirty. That's not what his mum brought him up for. Do, eh? No. But by God, that's what they want to do. Restore. Restore what exactly? Yeah, we haven't lived in an properly autocratic regime for several hundred years in this country, thankfully. And that's what they want to restore, is to go back to the good old days. Maybe have a decent upstanding parliamentarian who can, really bring in some strident laws, and I don't know, maybe go across to Ireland and sort them out. Yeah, Oliver Cromwell. Didn't believe in democracy. Certainly not. What a wasted opportunity those years were. We could have, in an alternate timeline, gone with a really socialist vision of the future there. But as ever, history has a way of fumbling the ball. Do have a lovely Sunday if you can do, and remember, don't be a proper Charlie, whatever you do. And don't believe that guff about entrepreneurialism, okay? It really is guff. They will strip you of everything that's any value, and they will think that they're serving the great gods of the economy. Do have a lovely day.